Well. I understand as a content creator, Jesse Holley, finding content this time of season as a Dallas Cowboy fan is tough. But for you to come up with this take after what we saw from Dak Prescott yesterday, your timing is impeccable and the take is absolutely pitiful. Let's talk Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And if you like this video, please don't forget at the end to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. You can also help us continue to grow and push us out into the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't already, please become a channel member. We have a lot of things coming in the future. Now let's talk facts. Jesse Holley. I'm pretty sure most of the Dallas Cowboy fan base is like myself. We have a lot of respect for you. But this take on Dak Prescott, it's not only pitiful, it is this kind of talk that is the very problem in this Dallas Cowboy fan base. And maybe even with some people on this team and within the organization. But hold on a second. Let me stop talking directly to Jesse Holley. He's probably not watching this video. Let me talk to the fans. Let me remind us, this is what we saw from Dak Prescott yesterday. Let's roll it.
This is it for me. This year, if you want to gain more favor in my eyes and want me to believe in you past the 2025-2026 season, Dak, you cannot get hurt this year. And you have to take this team to a deep playoff run. Because if you do not, there's nothing else that you can show me. There's nothing else that you're not going to get better. You're not. You don't get better in year 10. Sorry. I'm sorry. You don't get better in year 10. You know all that you know that you know. You're a 10-year vet. You done seen every cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. You done seen every robber, every rat player, every hole player. You done seen every blitz. You done been through defensive coordinator after defensive coordinator throughout your time. If you do not get this team to a place that they have not been through this little drought.
No drought.
I'm
Just
out.
A little drought.
I am. You cannot convince me anymore that he's the guy.
This take right here. This take right here is everything wrong with the toxic part of the Dallas Cowboy fan base. I want you to let's go back through this one more time. And I'm going to break down for you, piece by piece, how someone who's actually played in this league, someone who knows football better than me, how in the world does he come up with such a ridiculous take? Let's go back through and let me let you hear how dumb this actually is.
This is it for me. This year, if you want to gain more favor in my eyes and want me to believe in you past the 2025-2026 season, Dak, you cannot get hurt this year.
Jesse Holley, and any of us for that matter, do not live your life trying to prove yourself to someone saying stuff like this. Dak Prescott has done something that not many can do. He is a professional quarterback, a starting professional quarterback in the NFL. Dak doesn't have to prove himself to Jesse Holley. Dak Prescott doesn't have to prove himself to anyone. And what Jesse Holley is saying is insane to me, that if he wants to stay in good graces in his eyes. Well, I hope Dak Prescott doesn't look at this and say, I have to stay good in the eyes of one Jesse Holley. I'm just trying to figure out who Jesse Holley is in the Dallas Cowboy organization. And then he says something that is actually out of Dak Prescott's control. Dak Prescott can't control whether or not he gets hurt. Dak Prescott can try to stay out of harm's way, but Dak Prescott cannot control whether or not he gets hurt, Jesse Holley. And anyone else who thinks like this, I've already said before, I'm praying this year that Dak Prescott stays healthy. But again, that is not under Dak Prescott's control. I'm sure Dak Prescott is not just going to walk out there and say, I'm not going to stand behind the blocking that I get. I'm going to go out here and try to get hurt. Jesse Holley, who tries to get hurt? You don't get to say that. You don't have control over that, just like Dak Prescott doesn't have control over that. And this is one of the problems. Let me let you hear another statement, and then I'm going to show you why, in totality, this is even more stupid.
And you have to take this team to a deep playoff run.
Right there. Right there. That also is the problem. So let me go back to the injury part. Why do we keep trying to, in this organization, this fan base, and people like Jesse Holley in this media, why do they always try to put all the responsibility on Dak Prescott? Rather than you saying, Jesse Holley, that Dak Prescott needs to stay healthy, why don't you talk about the fact that the Dallas Cowboys need to put a better line in front of Dak Prescott than he had last season? Dak Prescott was a sitting duck last year behind that offensive line. There was nowhere to run. There was so many plays that the defense was in the chin and the chest of one Dak Prescott before he could even complete his drop. But we're telling Dak Prescott, or Jesse Holley is saying, Dak Prescott don't get hurt, like Dak Prescott has one of the best lines in football, and he's running around his line and getting himself in harm's way. This is dumb. Number two, this stuff. This stuff also is a problem. Someone putting the responsibility on Dak Prescott, that Dak Prescott has to put this team on his shoulders, on his back, and Dak Prescott alone has to take this team into a deep playoff run. This very thought process is the very thing that makes people hate Dak Prescott, have anxiety when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, criticize Dak Prescott for things that other quarterbacks do not get criticized for. This is absolute insanity. We never asked Troy Aikman to do this. We never asked Troy Aikman to put the entire team on his back and win Super Bowls. Anybody who was around in the 90s, shame on you, Jesse Holley, because Troy Aikman had an absolute super team around him. Historically, offensive line, one of the best offensive lines ever. The best running back, arguably, in NFL history. One of the best wide receivers in NFL history. And at once upon a time, one of the best wide receiver duos in NFL history with Michael Irvin and Alvin Harper. You talk about Daryl Johnston, the tight end that they had. You think about the defensive line the Cowboys had. You think about the fact that on the other side of Troy Aikman was a number one defense, a top 5 defense. Jesse Holley, shame on you. This is the kind of nonsense that makes people criticize, hate Dak Prescott for unfair reasons. This is dumb. And the fan base, there's certain parts of this fan base, they buy into this dumbness. No, Jesse Holley. How about that now it is the responsibility of Stephen Jones? He said his goal is to build the best roster in football. How about give Dak Prescott a roster for a change? And I'm not talking about by our standards. Dak Prescott has had a good team. Dak Prescott has not had a good team. When you compare those teams to the teams that do make the deep playoff runs, to the teams that do go to the Super Bowl, the teams that we've had since Dak Prescott, the teams that we had with Tony Romo, they have not been as good as the teams that have won the Super Bowl during their tenures. Absolute shameful, Jesse Holley. Absolute shameful. And somebody like you, of all people, ought to know better. Let's listen to some more.
Because if you do not, there's nothing else that you can show me. There's nothing else that you're not going to get better. You're not. You don't get better in year 10.
Can somebody else show you something, Jesse Holley? Can somebody else show you something? Can Michael Parsons, who's now it seems is talking about a $200 million deal, can he show you something? Can he get more than one sack in the playoffs, in 4 playoff games? Can he get more than one sack? I'm talking in 4 playoff games. Can he not fade down the stretch? Can he play big in the big games? This is not a knock on Michael Parsons. You know why? Because he needs help too. Just because you're going to pay Michael Parsons, whatever you pay him, just because Dak Prescott is making the money that he's making, it doesn't mean that he's supposed to put the team on his back and do it by himself, Jesse Holley. This is despicable. It's despicable and it's irresponsible by someone who should have the football knowledge that Jesse Holley has. Dak Prescott has 1 wide receiver. Dak Prescott doesn't have a run game. The defense, you can tell me anything you want to. This defense has been inadequate for the most part under Dak Prescott's tenure. Dak Prescott has been putting this team on his back. And the problem is we're putting too much on the plate. Isn't it strange what all the other teams are doing? Isn't it strange what the Detroit Lions did? They went out and got a treasure trove of players, had great coaches around Jared Goff. Isn't it strange what the Philadelphia Eagles did? They went and put together a super team around one Jalen Hurts. And when you look at what he did in the Super Bowl compared to the first one, it pales in comparison. And what did they do? They destroyed the Kansas City Chiefs because they put everything around them, including the best running game in football. Shame on you, Jesse Holley. Shame on you. You should not be this desperate for content. You should not be this desperate. And anyone who buys into this garbage, I don't know what else to tell you. You're your own worst enemy. Dak Prescott is not the problem. Dak Prescott is far from the problem on this team. The problem is they haven't built teams around Dak Prescott. They've been top heavy, but they haven't had teams. And if they don't put somebody on the other side of Michael Parsons, it's going to be the same thing for him. And he's going to start taking even more heat because people are going to keep saying things about him because they will not get the adequate help that makes dominant players absolutely dominate. Dominant players need players around them to dominate so they don't have to do everything. And Jesse Holley is talking in a language that is so trash and detrimental. So you want Dak Prescott to do everything. Dak Prescott don't have to show you anything. I'm laughing when someone says this. I'm sorry, Jesse Holley. Much love, brother. But Dak Prescott doesn't have to show you anything.
Sorry. I'm sorry. You don't get better in year 10. You know all that you know. You're
dumb. You do get better. You do get better, Jesse Holley. Your problem is, and maybe this is why you're not in the league no more. You do get better, Jesse Holley. You don't get better physically. You get better in the mind because football is as much a mental game as it is a physical game. And the greats, Jesse Holley, maybe you don't understand this. I haven't even played football and I understand this. Jesse Holley, you know where the greats beat you? The greats don't beat you physically. The greats beat you in their mind and physically. And when I can beat you with my mind, it doesn't require as much physically. A young, immature player, he has to rely on total physicality almost. But those greats, the older they get, they know the body declines, but not the mind. The mind doesn't peak at 31, Jesse Holley. The mind gets better, and you beat people with your mind. You learn to beat people with your eyes. You learn to beat people with fakes. You learn to beat people with all kinds of little twitches of the body and different looks. You learn how to beat people with your mind. You become cerebral, Jesse Holley. You do get better. Foolishness.
You're a 10-year vet. You didn't see in every cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. You didn't see in every robber, every rat player, every hole player. You didn't see in every blitz. You done been through defensive coordinator after defensive coordinator throughout your time. If you do not get this team to a place that they have not been through this little drought.
No drought.
I'm out.
Dumb again. You know why it's dumb? So just because you've seen every defense, do you not still need a line to block? Do you not still need a running game to run? Do you not still need receivers to catch? Jesse Holley, do you understand how dumb what you're saying is? Dak Prescott is not the only player on the team or on the offense. Just because Dak knows what every look is, if he does not have the personnel that can help him to defend or oppose what he's seeing, he's just watching his demise. You don't think that Dak Prescott is reading these defenses better than even you? He's better than you, Jesse Holley. He's better than you at reading defenses. He's better than you. You don't think he knows when he sees certain things, but he's also computing in his mind? I don't have the personnel. And if CeeDee Lamb don't get open for me, I'm done right here. You don't think he's looking and knowing, they're doubling CeeDee Lamb. So now I got to go to my second. Oh, wait a minute. Who is my second today? Because I don't know if Jalen Tolbert is going to show up. I don't have the run game to offset what I'm seeing. This is an absolutely dumb Stephen A. Smith type take from Jesse Holley. And Jesse Holley, your timing is impeccable. I don't find it to be strange, Jesse Holley, that you chose after what we saw with Dak Prescott and the fan base so excited that Dak Prescott is back on the field and healthy. Your timing is impeccable. That you choose to come with a Stephen A. Smith type take. It's just Bush League.
I am. You cannot convince me anymore that he's the guy.
Well, if I'm Dak Prescott, I'm not concerned with convincing you, Jesse Holley. Just like if I'm Dak Prescott, I'm not concerned with convincing Stephen A. Smith. I'm not concerned if I'm Dak Prescott. I'm not concerned if I'm Dak Prescott with any of this foolishness. Because it's foolishness. And this is the very reason why. I noticed something that Dak Prescott does is very smart. I noticed that Dak Prescott doesn't even waste his time giving a lot of these types of places. I noticed that Dak Prescott, he doesn't even waste his time giving a lot of these people interviews. If I was Dak Prescott, I wouldn't give these people interviews either with Tony Romo. But they got to finish the job with Dak Prescott. For these last 3 seasons, this man is crazy. He's talking about with a brand new coaching staff, they're going to have almost, about a 10% turnover on the team. It's going to take time for them to gel as a coaching staff and as a team. And you're telling me this is the season you want the Cowboys to go deep in the playoffs? Dumb. And it's a Stephen A. Smith type of take. I have no respect for it. Jesse Holley, still got love for you, bro. But that is one of the dumbest takes I've ever heard from someone who should have way more football knowledge than you and definitely shouldn't be gassing up the doggone fan base. Oh, yeah, I'm in the same boat. He got to show. Pitiful. Jesse Holley, you ought to be shaming yourself. I hope you do a follow-up on this and you do better than this and explain yourself in a lot more detail. Because for you to say that Dak Prescott has to do this with the implication that he has to do it on his own with the team that he has right now, and we got Brian Schottenheimer, we don't even know what he's going to be. Shame on you. Silliness. Again, y'all tell me what you think about this. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Until the next time, let's talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Peace.